Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, where pop culture gets blasted. And tonight we are going to take a bit of a different spin on what we normally do. We spend a lot of time talking about comic books. Sometimes we talk about manga and anime, and sometimes we just talk about pop culture in general. But if you've been following Critical Blast for any length of time at all, then you know that we like to do our annual awards. We open up the voting every January for the best movie, best series, best actor in each, the best comic books, writers, and creators. And in that, we also decided a few years ago to open up our voting to our cosplayers. We have once a month a feature called the Bombshell of the Month. This is open to all cosplayers. And we let our readers vote on the 12 choices, the 12 previous bombshells of the month, for a bombshell of the year. Now, I know it's April. It's kind of late to be looking back at 2020, and God knows we wanted to quit looking at it on January 1st, but this is actually one of the good things of the year, so we don't mind doing this at all. We had our voting, and we had a very healthy turnout for our winner. Reason we kind of held off on things on announcing this one was because we were waiting for the trophy shop to get back with the physical medals, because we want this to be more than just a, hey, look, here was a poll, here were the results. No, we want there to be a reward involved in this to make it competitive, make other people want to get involved in the next round of bombshells and such. So with that, we have received those now, and we've sent them out, and our Bombshell of the Year for 2020 has received it and is ready to be announced. And it gives me great pleasure to bring to you on screen tonight, Nikki the Pixie. Nikki, how are you?
Hey, RJ, I'm doing quite great. How are you?
If I was doing any better, my job would probably have me sent off for blood tests. Because it's been the weather's been nice here finally for a while. And I get to have these great conversations every night. I don't get to talk with cosplayers that often. So, it's a bit of a different spin for me to, come up with a different kind of questions. I go on autopilot a lot with the comics. I'm like, so what were you wrote this? And this is new. And it's always fly by the seat of my pants. So we'll see where it goes. Why do you cosplay? What really interests you about doing that?
Well, I've been cosplaying for about 8 years now. I started a little bit late in the game.
It's like when you were 12.
I wish. I'm a little older than 12, a little older than 20. But I originally just started on a whim. I had a group of friends that said that they were going to MegaCon in Orlando. And I thought, well, I like comics, I like superheroes, I like anti-heroes, I like villains. Why don't I pick one of my favorite characters and go with you guys? So I did, and I actually cosplayed as Moonstone as Miss Marvel, if you know anything about the Dark Avengers. And I had the time of my life. I didn't switch costumes at all. I spent the entire weekend in one costume, but it was my first experience, and I would not trade that for the world. I was hooked after that.
Now, I got to look that character up, because the first thing that popped into my head as a longtime, well, not a longtime reader, I guess, but a reader of long ago, was Moondragon. I'm like, you shaved your head?
No shaving my head. Maybe a side shave, but no full shave.
Okay, I got you. So, but you were able to put together a costume for that. Were you very already crafty, or did you find pieces that fit the look already?
I would say I'm a little crafty. I'm not an artist, but I've always been artistic. So what I did is I found, so she has a red leotard suit, and then it has the explosion kind of symbol on it, and then like a little black overlay. And so what I did is I found a red leotard, and I appliqued everything onto it that I needed and sewed around it. And I just kind of went at it for a little while and came out with something that I was pretty proud of at the time. I wouldn't be proud of it now, but at the time it was a lot of fun.
And I guess that first taste was enough to hook you into it.
Right, it really was. I like becoming a character and completely enveloping their personalities, and it was a ton of fun. And there you go, there she is.
There's who the character looks like. That is obviously not the cosplay you had there, but yeah, she looks a lot like Ms. Marvel, actually.
So that was the whole point. The Dark Avengers essentially took over for the Avengers when they had to run and go hiding in the underground. So she took the place of Miss Marvel as the Miss Marvel antihero. Her name is actually Carla Sofin, and it was really just they looked alike and had similar powers, but hers come from the Moonstone as opposed to what Carol Danvers come from.
For everybody in the chat, I never want to hear any of you say fake geek girl again. Look at you just summarizing the entire plot line and storyline of a
very, very basic, but
yeah, but you did better than a lot of people who actually claim to be comic book fans could have probably done. So and that was kind of leads into the question I was going to ask you next was how deeply do you think you need to know a character before cosplaying them? I mean, can you get by on just the hey, look, I saw her on a trading card, I'd love to play this character, or does it help if you have read at least a few books featuring the character to get a little bit of personality into the cosplay?
So that's a tough one, because you're going to get views from every aspect of that, where some people just like the design of a character and they want to wear that design, they want to feel cute, they want to feel pretty, and they just want to take pictures. And then you have the other people who want to know the entire storyline and everything that goes into that character's backstory, what drives them, and they just want to really envelop it like to their core. And I don't think that there is a wrong answer here. I believe you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't learn about this character that you're becoming, but I don't think it's necessary to cosplay the character. Now, some people might disagree with me completely. It's just my personal viewpoint.
Well, have you found that that the lack of conventions this year has put a big damper on your cosplay? I mean, I know you can still do Instagram and stuff, but it's not really quite the same thing, is it?
Oh, yeah. And if you even look at my Instagram right now, it's been a lot less active than it was a year ago. And a lot of that goes into the fact that I'm a student, but a big part of it is the lack of motivation to get cosplays done, because there's nowhere to wear them, really. And I think they'll be starting up again soon, so I'm excited to start up again. But I've been directly hit by that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's... First of all, you guys have it easy now. I'm just going to come out and say that. I did my first cosplay, and probably one of only two cosplays I did. And it was 1989. So
an entirely different world.
An entirely different world. And it was the Batman movie was coming out. So, I was like, oh, I want to do the Joker. And it all stemmed from the fact that I went to a Spencer's in the mall, and they had the purple felt Joker hat branded, in the tag. It was like, there it is, the Jack Nicholson Joker hat, like, and nothing else. There were no ties, there were no shirts, there was no suit. So I had to go to like different Goodwills and found a white Don Johnson Miami Vice suit and ran it through the washer like 18 times with purple Rit to get it dyed the right color and evenly. And I was like, everybody can go to a Star Trek movie with pointy ears. By golly, I'll be in the crowd watching Batman dressed as the Joker. And I went to that Batman premiere, and I was the only person dressed up in anything.
Even better, even better.
Even better. So I took it to Chicago Comic-Con, and I had a lot more fun. But even then, there were not that many people running around conventions dressed up. If they did, they were usually working a table somewhere. The traditional booth babes that would be hired, to do like like Julie Strain would be there doing Vampirella or something, but no one was there just doing it for fun.
Right.
And somewhere along the way, and I don't know where it can really be pinpointed, people started doing it for fun.
That's been a question that I've kind of asked myself for a long time, because if you look back on the world of cosplay, it has come miles and it's come a long way. I think that you really have these people who paved the way back in early 2000s to 2010, like your Yaya Hans, your Jessica Negris. All of those people made it okay or made others feel like it's okay for them to go out there and be their nerdiest self, shine with everyone, and just be a little dorky and wear a costume and run around a convention center. So I think we just really needed those people holding the banner in the front of the line. And then you were one of those people, though. Being
apparently I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, nobody wanted. What's funny though is that when I went to the Chicago convention, it was held in a hotel, and it was one of the big ones at the time. It was like, this was where DC and Marvel and all the publishers showed up for this one in Chicago. And there in the hotel lobby, there was this big dome-topped chair, like it had this overarching thing. And I was just sitting there because I was like, I'm tired. I'm going to sit here. Had my Joker regalia on. And this guy comes up with his daughter and says, how much to take a picture? And I'm like, I'm not with the convention. I'm not going to charge anything. If you want your
I can make money?
Yeah, apparently. So it's like, but it was just funny. The people who would have their kids stand with me and get their pictures taken with the homicidal maniac.
Even so, I bet that just made their day.
It did. Those kids were like really happy, and I was like, no, none of them can sit on my lap, because even then I was like, this could go badly. So I would like stand next to them. They could stand next to me. I'm not Santa Claus. I'm the Joker. Let's get that part straight. But I think Japan really helped breaking through with that. I mean, that's where it's almost a daily. You can cosplay just to go downtown in Japan, and they have, somebody was telling me the other day on a stream that you can just go down to some certain squares and it's just cosplay wall to wall for a Saturday. It's a Saturday.
I tell you, I actually went to Tokyo and Kyoto in 2019, and just going through random shops every now and then, you would find a floor and it was costumes. You could just buy a costume in a random mall, and there was just like merchandise everywhere, and it was unreal.
Yeah, and that's part of where I was saying, you guys have it easy. You young whippersnappers got it so easy these days. Because there, I can't remember the name of the company now. There's several of them, but there's one that stands out where it's just like, send us the design and we'll print the unitard. And there you have it.
Zentai. Yep.
Exactly.
Always have them on speed dial.
But even so, you've still got to be able to design something that's going to fit the pieces that they put together. Because I've seen the templates. I'm like, I'd never be able to figure this out. Have you done that? Done a custom with them, or just bought one of their pre-mades?
No, I typically find a design that I already like, and then I just send that to them. I haven't. That's one thing I don't know if I'll get into, the digital 3D modeling and designing prints. I don't know that I have that kind of patience.
I hear you. Yeah, well, you can sign up with some artist friends and do some, new characters. In fact, Heroinberg in the chat here is talking about the first cosplayer that he actively followed was Kara Nicole, also known as AZ Power Girl, whom we've had on the show recently, in fact, because she has an original character that she's doing as a comic book. Fire Bitch. That's the name of her character.
Oh, wow. I bet she's lovely.
Well, yeah, she's a very nice person. But
the cosplay. I meant the character, not the cosplayer.
Yeah, she just, badass superhero, I guess, is what it comes down to. But I guess he's asking, have you ever considered doing an original kind of character that, would be sort of your branded thing and build some? I mean, crowdfunded comics are a huge thing right now. Everybody's getting behind them. I'm sure you could find an artist and writer that would work with you.
That is something that has honestly never even crossed my mind, but it would be a really fun adventure to take. I now that's on my radar. Thank you.
Be think because they're making like 5 figures on these things, and this is
Oh.
comic book stuff. So
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Get involved in that. I would say that was going to get a lot of artists and writers right now hitting up your Twitter account, but we've had it pointed out that your Twitter account is not there.
So Twitter is one of those platforms that I've just never really used. I was a journalism major for a while, so I was forced to use it. But other than that, I kind of lurk on Twitter. I'll follow other people, but I don't post content on there.
Well,
so I do have one. It's going to be very boring if anyone follows it.
Well, yeah, Twitter says it's suspended. That's why we're like, oh, did she put up a
My
picture?
My account is suspended?
Nikki the Pixie?
Oh, it's because it's under my old name. It's under Noe Nicky.
There we go. You've got the wrong account, Heroinberg.
I threw everyone for a loop when I did that Instagram name change, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Because
I'm so sorry.
Here we have when you were our Bombshell in May. You were Noe Nicky, and we made sure to even get the little dash above the E there.
I know you did so well with that. So Noe is actually my name. My name is Noe Nicole. And I kind of changed my name using more the Nicky part of my name to transition away from kind of like my school life and my personal life so I could separate that a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to compartmentalize.
Right. So I'm so sorry that I didn't even think about how that would affect other things like this.
It's fine. You just you can't take that Twitter account because that's somebody else's. I was going to say you could just change your Twitter handle, but
darn. I mean, they're suspended. Maybe it'll just go away.
It'll go away after time. Yes, absolutely. But you do have a Instagram account, and I'll just pop that up under here.
Yay, thank you.
That is Nikki the Pixie. So if you want to do a comic book and have her be an original character, hit her up there. And now your inbox will fill up on.
Oh, I look forward to it.
Now, when I got your pictures for the May Bombshell, you did a lot of video game characters as opposed to comic book characters. So is that more your oeuvre, I guess they would call it?
It's really just whenever I feel like I connect with a character. I might be reading a comic, I might be watching a movie or a TV show, maybe an anime, as we were talking about earlier, or it really just depends on what I'm doing. And if I connect with that character, that's the one that I want to spend my time cosplaying next. I don't think that I fall into any sort of specific fandom. But I love that. That's my pony. I love that picture.
That's why I was bringing that up here for, because I wanted to talk to you about. Do you have horses? You keep a ranch or anything?
So I don't have my own ranch. I do own two horses. I have the one that you see in the picture there. That's my Arabian. He's a feisty one. And then last September, I actually did get a second horse who's a rescue, and she is a Florida Cracker horse, which is a real breed.
I believe you. My father used to break horses when I was a kid, and for those in the chat who don't know what that means, I know that Nikki knows what it means because she has horses. That's when you teach a horse to allow a person to ride it, and you get thrown off a lot and through doors and stuff.
I have broken many bones and been injured many times riding.
But
go
on.
I was just gonna say we're a crazy breed. We're weird people over here.
So this is is this the first time that you incorporated your love of horses into your cosplay because it fit for that for Yennefer?
It had been a conversation that I've been having with a few local photographers for a while. I actually originally wanted my first time incorporating him in with my cosplay to be with Ciri from The Witcher 3. And it just wound up that this costume just works so perfectly with him, and all the colors matched perfectly. So I kind of switched gears and went with this one. And I still have not debuted that Ciri costume, but one day that will happen.
I'm trying to think how many characters would actually have a horse available to them. And the only one that springs to mind right now, the only two that spring to mind right now, is that original Wonder Woman cover from the 1940s, where she's riding that white horse and has her lasso of truth going above her. I think it's the only time I've ever seen her on horseback. And then, of course, Marvel's Valkyrie.
Valkyrie's been a thought before. There's a lot of plans I have right now. Actually, the person who took this photo, they are it was done by Jorge and Jordan. They are local photographers out here in Houston. You should absolutely check them out if you haven't. And they have a love of horses. So we've actually had a friendship over that, and we've bonded over it. And next weekend, we are actually doing another little ethereal shoot on my other horse. So there's more stuff coming. I want to start incorporating them a lot more.
Very cool. That's good. It's just something you don't see with cosplays. You see the costume, but for people who can go the extra mile and have a horse or the right pet. I'm not saying go out and buy an animal just because it matches your cosplay. I'm just saying if you can do it, don't go out and buy pet accessories. Okay, people.
I would have a lot of horses.
or even a vehicle. If you can be Batman next to the Batmobile and own it, that would be even better. And then of course we did have the one comic book picture, and this is the one that was on the voting. The ballot, that's the word I'm trying to say, the ballot where we listed all the characters. And by the way, you didn't even know there was a ballot going on, did you?
I had no idea.
So yeah, you won this with absolutely no social media game going on. This was purely people seeing the ballot and saying, I like her cosplay.
I mean, who doesn't like Black Cat? That's my girl.
Well, Peter Parker certainly does, and it bothers him.
It bothers you? Why?
No, it bothers him.
She challenges him. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it bothers him. Yeah, speaking of challenges, are there any cosplays that you have started and haven't yet finished because you're finding them to be such a huge challenge to get them just right?
Where do I begin? I have an entire closet full of just unfinished cosplays. Right now, the one that I have been telling people I will finish for about maybe 2 or 3 years now.
Boy.
I know. It will happen. It will happen one day, but it's a matter of getting the costume and getting myself ready for it. So it's actually the Force Unleashed. It's a Star Wars character, and it's Shakti. So if you ever look up that character,
I don't even know how to spell that character.
It's SHAAK and then space TI. Shakti. She is a Jedi Master.
All right. Oh, okay. I've seen this like 1,000 times. I just I didn't watch the last couple of Star Wars movies because I watched the Return of the Jedi, and then I just no, thanks.
You were just out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I noped out. I was one of those people, but I just didn't open my mouth about it as much as some people have felt compelled to do.
I have a lot of thoughts, but
well, share those thoughts. We don't care.
I mostly keep them to myself. I am not the biggest fan of the newest Star Wars editions. However, I do think that they were important to get new fans. So yeah. I think that there's a place for them. But yeah, that's my girl. That's Shakti.
I can imagine that would be the challenging headdress to make it up there.
Yes. So that's been the biggest challenge for me. And I think I've done about 3 attempts with this so far, and I just have not been happy with them. So I am now trying to just make a mold and do like a silicone latex type of outing of it. I cannot use my words today, but hopefully that will work. Right now, I've just been using expanding foam and then trying to make just you call these lecous, and these are montrals. So I use the expanding foam on the montrals, and then I was trying to use like more of a latex type base for the lecous.
So you just said you weren't all that crafty. You're doing way more stuff.
I try. I learn as I go.
I'd be like eBay.
But they don't. So unless you want to spend a lot of money, you don't get good quality for this. So.
Okay. Anybody watching who does these things, and I know there are people in our audience who make these molds and make these masks. If you're doing a Shakti, you know who to share this with, Nikki, and maybe you can get some business that way. I
am absolutely open to talking to you if you know what you're doing.
But there's also that sense of ownership too. If you made it yourself, my Joker costume was not the greatest. I mean, the purple that I had, I had an orange shirt and a green scarf that I tied in like a necktie, and that was it. I had the gloves. I dyed the white gloves purple too.
I think that's perfect. I don't think you needed to do anything else.
Well, it was not as dark purple as I'd liked it to God. I was sort of a lilac Joker. I could have been really the lilac.
More a springtime Joker.
Yeah, exactly. More of a springtime Joker. Exactly. I think the hardest thing I had trouble finding was the bang flag gun. So I could sit there with my little revolver and the little bang flag hanging out. Like,
right.
What do you? It was 1989. There was no eBay.
There was no Amazon yet.
No, it was Yellow Pages and looking up magic stores. And finding them in novelty shops, and it was hard to shop for cosplay items in 1989. The dinosaurs would kill you on the way there.
Were you able to find it?
I did find it.
See, you should be proud.
In fact, if I could find the pictures, I have no idea where they're at. I will. I'll continue looking while we talk here. I've got pictures of me at the con, standing next to Dick Giordano and Denny O'Neil. And I even had pictures of me with some of the other Batman creators, the Dick Sprang and such. So where did those go? I don't know. I've really got to organize my pictures someday.
Oh, I'd love to see those. Got to start posting them on your Instagram page too.
Yeah, I did that once, long time ago, and then they just kind of get buried.
Yeah,
that happens.
Instagram does that though.
Yeah, I mean, the only picture I can find that's even remotely of that time period was my comic book collection when I was 17 years old.
Look at you! You had the entire wall.
I had the entire wall, and of course, this is where the comic book influence comes in, and you think, yes, George Perez, I love those sideburns put on Jericho. Surely they're will look perfect. Just as good on me.
I love them. No, they're perfect.
Oh God, I've always been, but I was the uber geek there.
There's nothing wrong with that. I love the sideburns. I love the comic book wall too.
So you are well acquainted with comic books. You have demonstrated that
to a limited extent.
to a limited. When did you start reading comic books? Because we know you have.
So I started probably when I was very young, before the age of 8. When we were on road trips, my mom used to give us comic books to read. Me and my brother, when I say us, we would read comic books on road trips. She gave me Archie, those very old style comics that you kind of want little girls to read because they have good stories sometimes. And I got really bored with them. The Archie comics bored me so much. So I actually asked my mom if I could get something else. So she starts buying me Spider-Man comics. And I have a love for Spider-Man. As you can see, he's right back here.
Yes.
I got a little lamp Spider-Man. He's a lot of fun. So she started me, before the movies ever came out, she started me on Spider-Man comics. And I had so much fun with them. I loved them. I wish I still had my old ones. Unfortunately, they're probably lost in her attic somewhere. But from there, I started falling in love with the female characters. So first it was MJ, and then slowly it just grew upon that. And I kind of took a hiatus from comics, I think, when I got to the older teenager age, and didn't pick them up again until I got the Dark Avengers book gifted to me when I was maybe 20. I don't want to age myself too much here, but I think I was 20 when I got back into them. And then I fell in love with the anti-heroes.
I found them.
Oh, let's see. No, that's amazing.
That is the Joker of it. And this is the chair I was telling you about. I just sat here and had my friend take the picture, and then shortly after that, well, because if you ever look up the Joker, that very first appearance is him sitting with his hands like this in a big tall chair, plotting the next murder.
The chair is perfect. I want that chair.
Yeah, I love that chair. That was at the Chicago O'Hare Hilton. I'm sure they've gotten rid of them since then. And then here is the picture I was telling you about with Dick Giordano and Denny O'Neil. which
I love these.
this
These should
was
be all over the internet.
well, yeah, this is prehistoric cosplay right here. I mean, you can tell by the posters what was coming out in stores at the time. I mean, Superman was just rebooting after Man of Steel, and the Michael Keaton Batman was just coming out. And I wanted these shirts so badly that they were all wearing. They all had these embroidered Batman shirts with their names on them.
Did you get one?
Like, no.
Oh.
Only DC staff had those there. But the only other cosplayers I saw there, like I mentioned, they were there was Stargrazers. So she was at a booth, and we did the pose thing, and then she had a partner. So there were two Stargrazers there. And again, it was like, hey, this will attract people over to our booth. And it worked.
I bet it did, yeah.
They know what they're doing. And then the Marvel booth, where you were Spider-Man.
Perfect. There's my boy.
That was all the cosplay I saw. I took a picture with every cosplayer there, all three of them. The only other thing there that was not really cosplay. Well, I guess it was. The guy was in a costume. But they had the Ghostbusters vehicle was there. So
that's definitely a cosplay.
I don't know what the Ghostbusters gun would have done to a living person, but we did a Joker versus Ghostbusters thing. And this lady was actually her idea. She's like, "Would you come over here and take your picture with me next to the Ghostbusters car?" I'm like, "Okay, it's kind of a genre mashup, but sure, why not?"
There's nothing wrong with that.
It was, I miss it, but I'm 50. I'm 50 and none of your business years old now.
Years young. You say years young around here.
Oh, well, then I will start that. I would love to cosplay more, but it got to a point where I was like, yeah, I got people who want me to buy them food now. So
I mean, I have people that want me to buy them food too.
Oh, well, there you go.
Not little people, just like people my age that want me to buy them food.
Oh, that's true. You can tell them to go get a job. I've got the other ones that they can't do that yet. So you do run an Instagram page here, and
I do.
How frequently do you manage to put things up on this? Again, with convention season having been gone for a year.
So before the end of convention season, so mid 2020, I think I was maintaining almost every single day, or at least 5 days a week. Now it's really just whenever I think about it, whenever I have time. I'm running out of content, so it's whenever I see a picture, I'm like, oh, I haven't posted this in a long time. Let's throw that out there.
With there being no conventions, do you not just pick a weekend at home to put something on and feel super and take pictures?
I haven't done that. I should do that, but I have not. So far, I've been using my time I've been spending a lot of time with my horses. I've been studying in school. I'm almost done with my new degree. And I
Still
did.
Journalism?
No, so that was years ago. Now I'm actually back. I'm pre-med. I'm actually a biology major, and I'm hoping to get into a medical graduate school pretty soon.
From cosplayer to doctor. So.
Doctor's assistant, like a PA type program.
Night nurse. There's your next cosplay.
I should be the night nurse.
It'd be too easy to put together.
It would be. I already got a lab coat. I just need some scrubs. We'll be good to go. I did have a lot of fun though with this Power Rangers one when I was able to do the Pink Power Ranger. I hadn't had any content in a while, and a friend actually runs Power Rangers fan squad. They're called the Henshin Squad, and he asked me to join in a fan film for him as the Pink Ranger, and that is actually up on YouTube if anyone wants to check it out under the Henshin Squad channel.
Heroinberg, you got your work cut out for you there. Heroinberg's our ranch. He finds all the links. He's been sharing your Instagram, your everything here.
You're OP.
It's all in the chat. Yes.
It should be up there too, I think, somewhere.
he's even got links to who Shakti is on Wikipedia. So he's got us all covered. So you've done acting, fan film acting.
That was my first and only time doing that. I did do theater when I was younger, but nope, never done any film work until then.
Yeah, but I think when you go to conventions, it's still acting, because you don't just walk around as Nikki when you're in costume. I'm betting. Do you like put on an air or an attitude of your character?
I do sometimes. It really depends on who I'm interacting with, though. If it's someone who seems to really buy into that, I will definitely go all out with the character. If it's someone that seems a little standoffish and they just kind of want to interact with another person, then I'll pretty much just be me.
I gotcha. What about the younger crowd at the conventions, the kids? Because they're the ones who really,
absolutely,
you are that person when they see you.
100%. And I've done a lot of charity work for kids, and they want you to be that character. They believe it. So at that point in time, yes, I'm 100% acting in that role.
Yeah. My son, he's 13 now, so he's past the whole Santa Claus and all that stuff. But when I took him to Wizard World and he was 10, there was like, a Superman character there. There were a couple of Superman characters there. One was the St. Louis Superman, nice guy and everything. I've talked with him before. And we got his picture taken with him. And then there was Lonnie, whose last name I can't remember, who's always at the conventions. Deputy sheriff on his real-time job. Built.
Oh, very cool.
Right haircut, right jawline. And he stopped by, and my son got his picture taken with him. And that's like a 13 by 20 picture now in his room. And my wife told me, it's like, after you left the table for some time, he told me, he's like, that one guy who's a friend of Dad's was really nice, but I'm really glad the real Superman was here.
Right. Of course. But that's amazing that your son was able to get that memory and have it on his wall. That's so cool.
It's a lot of fun. Have you had any cosplays that utter failures? You put them together, you tried them on, and nobody got who it was? Or just didn't meet up to your expectations?
That happens actually quite a lot, because people always want to know who a character is, but sometimes they're just trying to guess with you, and it doesn't always work out like that. It happens a lot. I used to work at so I've been a bartender on and off for over 10 years now. And I used to work at a video game bar, and we were allowed to cosplay behind the bar as video game characters. And pretty much any costume I put on was always Lara Croft or Zelda. There was never anything else unless it was a true fan. But it happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell that somebody's cosplaying a character, but sometimes, when it goes in anime, and I talked about, before the show, I told you my anime experience, which is little to none. They all kind of look like the same character to me coming from the outside, which is why when we send the questionnaire out to people who are picked to be the cosplay bombshell of the month, I always say, please identify your character, because, you get somebody cosplaying Ash and you're like, yeah, I like your Goku.
Awesome Goku, man.
Yeah, that's when you like try to sound like you know what you're doing, and you find out you don't. I'm looking at the, you've got your Spider Gwens, you've got your Harley Quinns. Mm-hmm. Do you find that they're overdone? I mean, do you? Not yours. I'm just talking like the character in general.
It's a saturated character. But I don't know. I think people still love seeing it. So Harley is definitely one that people have seen a million times and never get over. Like, they will never get over her. Spider-Gwen seems to be following the same exact trend. So I love them. I love seeing people wearing that.
There's I don't know. There was something about the characters. It's good that they resonated with the readers in that response, that they wanted to be that character so much. I don't know. I'd be happier about Spider-Gwen people than I would be about, I want to date a serial killer people.
Well, it's a serial killer doctor psychiatrist. So
this is true.
There's that.
she's reforming. And you've done some redemption on Squirrel Girl here, who is a
Yes.
much maligned character.
Yes.
Uh,
I love her.
I like that I'm sitting here saying I like that you keep your cosplays on the public access side of the fence here, and I'm saying that just as this one here pops up right in front of me, of course.
Sorry about that.
No, it
So that
doesn't
one's not
bother
done.
me.
That one's not done. There was something about the picture I liked. I don't know what it was.
Well, I can tell you what it was on my end, but it would be a totally different reason. And I don't do those kinds of interviews.
That's another costume that's sitting in my pile that has not been finished.
I was going to say that a lot of people are doing, like the calendars, and they're like selling prints of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, they really put together less of a costume.
You've seen that a lot in the last year. A lot of girls and boys, actually. I actually know boys that are doing this too. They're starting up their Patreons. They're selling calendars. They're doing OnlyFans is a big one. So many people have break out, and they're taking their love for crafting and cosplay and putting it into something that they can monetize. And sometimes that's not always a public discussion.
Yeah, and I was, not being in the cosplay community tightly like that. I mean, I'm still on the periphery of everything. Is there any discussion or any sort of separation among the cosplayers? Like, I'm a convention cosplayer and that person's an online sex worker or whatever you want to.
I'm sure there is. Nothing's been said to me, but I am absolutely sure there's a superiority complex of sorts on both sides. So you're dealing with the human psyche, and
I want this one as a print.
Oh, my Alice! Yeah, I've only ever worn that costume once.
Okay,
and that was actually for it was actually for a little meet and greet event. I had the Mad Hatter with me as well.
That's very cool. I have a Mad Hatter hat at home because I collect everything Alice, because I'm a published author, and my very first work was an Alice in Wonderland pastiche, so it's always near and dear to my heart and all the research I did on it. So whenever I go to conventions and I have my books with me and I see somebody dressed as Alice, I'm like, over here. So the rule I always have: if you cosplay as Alice, you get a free book. As long as you let me take photo with you and the book, and I'll sign it, and like Alice always gets a free book. That's the rule.
Is it any version of Alice or just the Disney one?
I have gone with any version.
All right.
I mean, as far as any version, the only other two versions I've seen have been the Disney movie one, where it was like the real ornate dress, the ornate blue dress from the Tim Burton film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one person did an American McGee.
Okay, there's also the killer one. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's a video game.
Yeah, that's the American McGee's Alice.
Okay, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's the one where she's like throwing hatchets or cleavers,
right?
And stuff. Yeah. And the costume's all bloody. Where do you have you got any plans for conventions coming up here? Have you seen anything opening?
I have seen them announcing ticket sales. I will believe it when it happens.
Yeah.
I haven't purchased any tickets. I don't have any plans to go at this point, but it'll probably be a last minute thing. If I realize a convention is happening, I will probably make an appearance.
I'm looking myself to get tables set up as soon as I know that one's actually going to physically open. This online convention thing we've seen this year, that doesn't work for me. I like to actually talk to the person I'm talking to.
Did you try any?
I viewed a few of them. I did not sign up for any of them, but yeah, the entire thing of, it's like, send me here's payment for your book. I will buy autographs, but I want to be there when it's signed, because that's what I'm really buying, is the experience of saying I was with this person.
You got to meet with them. You got to say hi to them.
Yeah. The fact that, I saw you online and ordered something from your store is not the same thing to me. So it doesn't carry the same weight. I got this picture pulled up because, for whatever reason, I've got a collection of Batgirl artwork and autographs. It just grew up organically. I always tried to get artists at conventions to draw characters when I was doing sketches that they weren't known for. And Batgirl was not as well known at the time when I started.
Mm-hmm.
And once you have two, it's a pattern. I'm like, yeah, just okay, we'll just make it a body of work. And now they're all, my collection of Yvonne Craig autographs and such like that.
Very cool.
You have a lot of costumes on your on your Instagram page. Do you have all these costumes, or are some of them provided for you for photo shoots?
I would say 92% of these are mine. The Alice one was provided by a company called the Fairy Tale Headquarters.
Okay.
And they're the Wonder Woman that you see right there. That is the Houston Hero Headquarters, which are actually, they are merging now. So that will be one company.
Are they a costume company that just hires actresses locally to?
It's a party company. So they do birthday parties and events, charity work.
Oh.
And they're dear friends of mine. So I've done a lot of work with them.
Have you gotten to do any of that kind of stuff since the conventions haven't gone? Have there been an uptick in like the party appearances, or have they even gone downhill?
They went downhill for a while. They were trying to do some virtual things. It didn't really work out. I was booked for one Harley Quinn party at the very beginning, probably in March or April when all this happened. And that fell through. The day of, they didn't send us the address or anything. So that never happened. Okay. But right now, as of probably the last 5 or 6 months, they've been picking back up. People have been going to parties. I have not been. But other girls have been going to parties. They've been booking the boys too. There's been lots of birthdays happening. And I think there's been some charity events that are starting up again too.
Very
which
cool.
is really awesome.
Do you have any charity events that are personal to you that you like to make sure that you partake in?
I was not able to participate in this past one, but the year before there was one for, it was pretty much all over, like just disabilities and young adults with disabilities. And they put on a prom night, and they always ask princesses to come out, which if you see my Sleeping Beauty pictures in here, that is actually from that event. And that is one that I would love to continue returning to. Because the joy that these people had being able to dance with the princesses and enjoy the princesses, it was absolutely amazing. And probably the best feeling in the world, taking pictures with them and just seeing their faces light up. There's also a few at the hospital with children, mostly in the oncology department. I love being able to bring joy to those kids as well.
Yeah, it's a special feeling when somebody sees who you're presenting. They're not really seeing you, but they're seeing what you're bringing them. And especially with kids, I see a lot of cosplayers doing that. And you guys are doing God's work, as they say in my neck of the woods here.
This one was actually a movie theater. This was a movie showing, but it was still fun.
I could see the posters in the background there, but
I think that was Aladdin, when live action Aladdin came out.
All right. Well, I think I've run out of questions here. I'm looking now. This is not Mira. This is Atlanta.
Yeah.
On
it's Aquamom.
The Iron Throne. Aquamom on the Iron Throne.
Yeah. That one was fun. People seem to like that. And then I also did above that a Khaleesi Deadpool mix on the Iron Throne.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to
Mother of Deadpools.
You have such a wide array of characters here, and that's another thing that I've loved about your cosplay, because you find some people, and there's nothing wrong with that. They fit a certain character so well that that's who they are. There's St. Louis Superman. He does all different variations of Superman, but he's always Superman or Superboy. But when you got this kind of a range, I think it gives you a lot more of a following, because people first of all will see that you're willing to try other characters, and then they'll start throwing you suggestions, and maybe you can get inspiration from those and say, yeah, I think I would like to try Duella Dent, the Joker's daughter, or
Which a lot of people, Duella Dent's another one. People always think it's just a gender bend.
yeah. And second of all, she knew who Duella was. So
I know who Duella Dent is. Yes, that's a gender bend Joker. You mean?
Yeah.
No.
Well, she was like several different villains' daughters when Robin was fighting her in the 70s before she settled on the Joker's daughter. And she was none of their daughters. She was just, they never did figure out who she really was and what she was doing it for.
I don't know.
That's where my comic book stuff comes out. Yeah. Anyway, Nikki, it's been a pleasure having you on here. So glad to have sent you you it's in good shape, right? You got it? Yes.
I got it. I was going to unbox it on camera.
Well, I will give you the whole camera because people want to see you more than they want to see me. There it is, folks. The Critical Blast Bombshell of the Year for 2020 presented. Did I put Nikki the Pixie or Noe Nikki on the back? I bet I put Noe Nikki because that was
Noe Nikki, but that is perfectly fine because that is actually my name.
Okay, well, there you go. So
can't get to focus. All right.
Display it in good health and pride or whatever. Wear it to cons. I don't know, or hang it on the wall. Whatever you want to do with it. It's yours, and you earned it. So, and again, I can only imagine how many more votes you would have had if you had actually, campaigned. This is, by the way, how the votes broke down. You had one person who was like sort of hot on your heels here. That was Katie DeCobre. She came in second place. And after that, you can just see how these are in order of the most votes here. You took in 27% of all votes that were cast. So not bad for, a race of 12 people.
Right. I can't believe it because I did go through and I looked at a lot of the bombshells and wow, I'm flattered. A lot of those girls are, the best word to describe them is bombshell.
And by the way, she said a lot of the girls, and I know that it's a bombshell title, and yes, we thought of that because DC was doing the bombshells, but we do have boys. In fact, you're followed here by 3 in a row here. Lord Alexander, Edwin Davis, and God of Mischief were always there. But you know what? It still is. We know where the eyeballs go. I try to balance it out. It's like, what? We haven't had a boy in a while. Let me recruit a boy into this mix, and we try to keep it even. But yeah, it's still your world there. So
it's still mind blowing for me. I am very flattered, and I appreciate you all so much.
Well, we're very glad that you were able to come on the stream and talk with us tonight. And did I display that when I showed it earlier, or did I just kind of?
You just did now.
Okay. Okay. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm sitting here pointing my screen like everyone can see it, and sometimes I forget to share my screen. But yeah, this was the graph. This was the breakdown. So
May is actually my birthday month too. So maybe it was just good
really?
luck. Yeah.
There you go. It was fated to be.
Yeah.
Nikki, thank you for coming on our show. Congratulations on your win, and we will continue following you. If you ever do prints, I will start. I will order some of them because I definitely want to get a print of that Alice one. I don't know why. It's a compulsion. It's like buying a comic book. It's like, I want that. PayPal.
Well, I'm always happy to hook that up for you. We can always make that happen.
Well, we look forward to seeing more out of you in the future, man. So.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night, everyone in the chat. Appreciate you being here. We don't have a show without you. And as always,